Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the C Unraveled series. As promised, today I would be teaching you how to create a calculator using the C programming language. If this is your first time watching my videos, I would recommend you to check the first episode because each and everything required in this video has been taught in the first episode. And if in case you are alien to the C programming language, you wouldn't be understanding much about it in this video. This is a little bit advanced level of program, like not completely advanced, intermediate level. Any person with the basic knowledge in C language can understand it. So let's begin. We would first obviously create a file which I would name calc.c, and I would close the sidebar, and we would now do the import, which is standard input output. Now we would be creating an int main, which is the function. I would be releasing that video near about this Sunday, in which I would be teaching you about what functions are and many other elements also. I would write return 0. This isn't necessary, but it's better to keep it in practice so that you do not struggle later on. So first I would be creating a char. With char, I'm not creating, I would be creating a char variable, which I would name OP. OP simply here means operator. I would even write here. So this is operator. So as I told you in the last video, we can simply get an input into a variable by using scanf. And this is the syntax for using it. And it would not look any good if we are simply saying that enter it yourself. Like, we haven't given any statement to it that okay, you have to write this, you have to write this. The person may get confused that they have to write first. So I would also give a print statement and print here enter the required operation. And I would also in parentheses write the symbols plus, minus, multiply, and divide. And then I would put a colon and space. Now let's check how it works. So I would open the terminal, and if in case you do not remember how we run the programs in VS Code whenever we are working with C, simply write gcc and then name of the program, which is calc.c. We are simply telling GCC to check this program. Now we would be doing the second step, which is running it as an executable file. GCC simply first checks the code that is in the file and then converts it into an executable file. So when we click enter, as you can see, it has appeared enter the required operation, just as we wrote in the print statement. So if I write plus and enter, there would be nothing done because we haven't done anything specific for now. Like, all we have done till now is to create a variable for the operator and take the value. They can't do anything on their own. Like, it wouldn't be like they'll read your mind and just take the numbers and plus, multiply, minus, divide, whatever the operation you clicked. So now we would be creating another variables, which I'll write A and B. These are simply the numbers. So again, we would do the same thing, the print statement where I would write enter the first number, then colon isn't necessary, but it's better to write because it looks a little bit user friendly. Like presentation plays a really important role oftentimes, so it's better to keep good presentation at all times. Also, sorry, I forgot one thing. I had to write C here because it is char. D is for int alone. So now we would put an ampersand and A. Notice that we can take value of both the numbers, which is A and B, inside a single scanf statement. But I just prefer to take two different statements. So I would simply copy paste this one because a little bit change has to be done and we are good to go further. So here we have to write B, and just for the correction, we have to simply write second number. So if we save it now and go to the terminal, simply do again gcc calc.c. Remember that you have to do this gcc step again and again if you make some changes. If you haven't made a change, you can simply do ./a.exe and it would work. So if we suppose put plus, now it is asking for the next number, so we write 10, and again now we give 11. It didn't do anything because we haven't told it what to do. We have simply told it that take this operator, take these numbers, and it doesn't know what to do afterwards. So we would be using switch statement, because of which I already said you to check the previous episode, because you could not know it because it isn't that, you can say, it is simple, but most people do not have that much interest in using these because these aren't the famous ones. The famous ones are if else statements, which would also be used but later on. So here we have to write printf because we want to print what the answer is, and double inverted commas. Now write %d, and as we are doing it for the plus, I would first write everything that is required in this one, and then I would tell why I'm doing so. A comma B comma A plus B. Now let me explain it to you. Here we have simply put a switch, and after switch we have to write in the parentheses that what value has to be kept in consideration. So as everything depends on the operator, so we have put OP here as we named OP as the variable that stores operators. Afterwards we began with curly braces, which aren't of that complexity. Then comes case. Remember this thing that after case, like in the most syntax you see on internet or elsewhere, it is written case 1 colon and then everything else. That one has to be replaced by whatever value you know has to come there. So as we know that plus would be used because in a calculator, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division are the most important ones, as they have been the basics of the mathematics. So we have to put plus. Then what we did is, here %d means that print the value. As we have written a first, so it will print the value of a. Then again we put %d, it will go to the next value, which is of b, which we have specified here that we have to take the value from b. If I write a, it would write the value of a alone. And after that, the third %d is for the value a plus b. so that we can print the a plus b value also. Now I would simply copy it, paste, paste, and paste. Now I would change the signs. So after plus comes minus. Although this step is not important, like I'm writing %d minus %d is equal to that. You can simply write %d and then simply a minus b. Because if you only want the answer, that's the easiest way. Also, the thing is that you can make another variable, like we are writing here a plus b, a minus b, a multiply b. You can simply give them a variable that has to be print. But this is a basic method. Like it is easier than doing it with a variable, because things may get really confusing sometimes. And here it is. So now if we go to the terminal, again we have to do the GCC and then run the executable file. Now suppose we put plus. The first number I will give 10 and then I give 15. As you can see, the answer is correct, which is 25. You can also give some space here to make it rather easily understandable. Let me give some space. After that, I'll go further to tell what's next. So let's save it. Now the problem we would be seeing is, in mathematics there is an exception, and that exception is divide by 0. Like divide by 0 is such a thing that you can't get any answer for it. You can get it for plus, you can get it for minus if you're using a 0, you can get it for multiply, but you can't get it for division when 0 is the denominator. So I would show now what the problem is. Suppose we write 10 and now we write 0. Now you run it. It didn't give any answer because it doesn't have any answer. So what we have to do is just take this statement. You can simply cut it. I would cut it. So Control X. Now we have to use a if else statement. So I have written if. Now we know that the problem is only occurring when the value of b is equal to 0. So we would write b, then we will put equal sign 2 times. 2 times put equal sign simply means that if b's value is 0. If we use it single time, then it is assignment operator where we are assigning the value for b, and that isn't what we need to do. So if that happens, we have to change the print statement. So it is printf, and I would simply ask the computer to write infinity in such a case. And then comes the else. In else, I would simply paste the statement we already had. Okay, so now when we save it, and now I do gcc calc.c and then run the executable file. Now if I go for divide, then 10 and 0, it is writing infinity straight away. And if I again go for it, like I have run the executable file again, I can do this now because I didn't make any change in the program. So now if I do divide and if I do 10 divided by 5, it is giving the answer 2, that 5 multiplied 2 would be equal to 10. So this is the program to create a calculator. It is really simple one. I would also post it in the comments. So that's it for today's video. Take care. Goodbye. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Bye bye.